Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it's Heaven and Earth design time. You'll be happy to see that I have definitely got further than last time. I've got the starts of something happening down here. Not sure if something's going to happen over here, though I can see that there's something up there. And I do have a few different symbols up there as well. But let's zoom you in to sort of see the chart and see the canvas and my lovely pen line that I managed to draw when sectioning this off. But I've found my first number, which is actually quite, well, no, it's still on the first row. It's a couple down. There is signs of some pink blossom coming on this side of the painting. If I go up to here, there's one over here, there's one down here. So there's signs of some pink blossom arriving. But for now, we've actually got some pale green. Only a couple though, so it's not going to let me go to 0, but you will be happy to see I finally got my update. In fact, if I zoom that down. So I have got it to disappear 0 numbers. Now, the first time I did it, I told it to take 0 numbers. It did take them all off. So when I did that section for the day, I actually checked through all the numbers as I was going to confirm that I hadn't missed any zeros, which I hadn't. So hopefully now it will tell me if there's any new zeros as I'm doing it. Say, we did check on the last video. I did sort of do a bit more of a zoom in to have a look at any ones that were coming up. Did I have any of them? No. To see if there was any coming up, and any of my ones that are like at under 10, there wasn't any. But that doesn't mean something won't go to even less in the meantime. So 164 is now down to 24. It could be that it's all in this cluster of something. I've got quite a bit of pale yellows and some greens, so I think there is something starting to go on over here. I'm just not sure what it is yet. Maybe it'll become apparent when I finish this section and moved the camera, or shown it in the camera when it's finished. It might show, but I reckon there's something going to be coming up over the next couple of weeks. There is also a little bit of yellow here, which makes me think there is something that's going to start to appear. Let me just shuffle that back up a little bit. It stops me from getting these ones higher up if I start knocking my pen against them. But yeah, very happy that I finally got the update. It was only, I think it may have been actually Thursday's section. As I did it on Thursday, I got the update. So I'm happy now. Whatever other updates they bring out, it may be something that I end up being very interested in. But for now, that is definitely one that ticks a few boxes for me. The fact that it can hide the zeros and the fact that it tells me that I've got a new 0 is also really good and really helpful. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's coming up for this next bit. I'm on the row 680. I don't want that one. I'm going up here. Yeah, I'm on the row 680. So once I've done the row after, which all going well, should be ready for next week's session, I should be finishing this row. That's taken into account me not doing it on a Sunday, but doing it every other day of the week. I've got one here that I've got to count 4 and 4. So there, 4 in, gap of 4 down. So we've only got a little bit of brown. We're obviously going into something. Just not sure what it is. Got a bit more 939 coming in as well. Though I don't think that one's going to run out anytime soon. Got quite a few of those. Sorry, I forgot to grab my iPad then so that I could actually answer questions, which would be a good idea. Because I have quite a few for Heaven and Earth Design. Quite a few comments and questions to go through from the last few weeks of WIP Chats. So let me figure out what my next colour is going to be. Oh, we've not got any of that yellow. Let's get some 310 done then. So Michelle says she was watching one of my WIP and Waffles the other day and saw that I was doing dynamic floral. So she decided that she needed a crystal rhinestone painting. She wasn't looking for the same painting, but it just had to be full crystal rhinestones. She said she found one on Amazon sold by HAED. And when she opened it, she said she realised that it was the same one that I'm working on. So she can't wait to start it. Well, I'm sure you will get ahead quicker than I am doing on mine. So far, I've just done mine on WIP Chats. But I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I'm getting quite a bit done on Cosmic. I've also, of course, been getting quite a bit done on my Heaven and Earth design. I have actually managed to get every day done this last week. So that's good. I feel like I've not, lost momentum on getting it done. Which makes me happy because I have a goal for this year. I have a goal to get it done. Diamond Sparkle Chase, she says hi. She says she hopes all is well this month. She does ask when the new launch will be this month. So you've probably seen the video already, but launch is tomorrow night as you're watching this. So it is Friday at 9 PM GMT. We did delay February's by 1 week, due to the international post. So for shop launch, we are going for every 4 weeks until it gets back to being like the second Friday of the month. And then we'll continue on as normal. I think it's actually only May. So it's only March and April that will seem to be a little bit later. And then it will be all caught up with itself again. And be at the regular sort of breaks in time. But yeah, the video's gone up for that. Everything is available to view on the website. All the dates are on the website, so you can sign up to be notified. But we'll see how quick the limited edition trays go this month. We do have more printed than normal, but we still never quite know how quick they're going to go, especially because this month's is a two-tone. In fact, this is one of the two tones, so it is gold and pink for this one. Right, I think that's all my black. I do think I'm going to end up with quite a lot of paler colours down here when I get to this bit. But I can't remember which case they end up being in. But we've definitely got some green as well, a bit of 320. Diamond Sparkle Chase also says, she's getting ready for her first Heaven and Earth design. She says she just has to wait for it all to come in now. She said, your Heaven and Earth design videos have really helped me a lot. Well, I'm glad they could help you. I've actually had quite a few comments that have sort of surprised me, just in the tone of them. over the past few weeks. A lot of them have been on older videos, but there's definitely been mainly one person who likes to comment on multiple videos going, why are you saving your spares? You only need a couple, you know, for each one, and then just get rid of them and all this, that and the other. But this Heaven and Earth design as an example, an ideal example of what you can do with your spares, because these are primarily, this whole Heaven and Earth design, all 2.5 meters of it when it's finished has been done with spare diamonds, either from my own kits or from kits from lovely subscribers who have sent me some to help me out, so that I could get stuff done. I think I only bought about 3 colours right at the beginning. 3 colours that I actually needed loads of. And I didn't buy the full amount. I just bought enough to sort of get me going. Get me a decent amount to get through. And I've been able to pass on spares to people that also are doing their own Heaven and Earth design. I've also had, these comments were in the space of about a day. I had somebody commenting on a very, very old video of mine where I just put the DMC numbers on my stickers to put on my pots for my diamond painting, saying, why are you only putting the DMC numbers on, so that you have to look at the little ledger each and every time. So I just replied saying, you know, it's a very old video. I put the symbols on now, even if I have to draw them, so that I don't have to look at the ledger. And then I had somebody comment on a more up-to-date video where I had drawn out the symbols because I didn't have, like, it didn't come with a sticker sheet. So I'd drawn out the symbols, just checking I got them all, and put the DMC numbers on, going, why are you bothering doing this? Just number them like 1 to 30, put the numbers on your case, and then use the ledger as a reference. And it's like, okay. Yeah, so I just replied to that one, basically stating that I don't, because it's quicker. So everybody does it different, and no way is a wrong way, but it surprises me how I basically get people commenting no matter which way I do it. It's always going to have some form of comment, but I do it for the guys that I help. So I'm so happy that I have been able to help you get, you know, your Heaven and Earth design journey started. And I don't claim to be an expert at it at all. It's definitely been a while since I've kitted up a Heaven and Earth design. It's been a good few years. So things have quite possibly changed as to what's available and what the good suppliers are. But hopefully I've given you enough information to be able to do a Heaven and Earth design if you want to. Linda, she says she uses the USB magnet cables. She says, and overall she finds that they are great for using with the light pads. She said she found one issue with them at one point because the magnetic cable only used to be available in a circle, which I think is the one I had on my video. It was a circle. She said, and it did used to be an issue if she had to lie her light pad flat, as it could put pressure on the layers of fabric. Not layers of fabric, layers of plastic and the USB ports. So they could crack if she was heavy-handed, which I do get what you mean with that one. I had the circular one and I used to hang it off the edge of my easel to make sure that I you know, tried not to knock it, but I could see how it potentially could get knocked even if it's accidental and cause just as much damage as a charger wire. She said she did fix it by she finally found, she said, a rounded rectangle magnetic ended cable and receiver that doesn't hang over the edges of the light pad. She said since she's had the magnetic cables, she's not once killed the USB port, which is the danger with the thinner light pads. She says even when the plastic separated from one side of the USB port, it still stayed snugly in the light pad with no connection issues, no charging issues. So that's always good to know. Just checking I've gone in the right place with this one. I have. I'm just having a moment to find my next ones. So we've definitely got quite a bit of green here, but then this part looks to be something quite light, but also some of this is as well. So we've definitely got something going on. I don't know that we're going to run out of any or use up any diamonds yet, but one can hope. Okay, let me get these diamonds away. Have I got any of the next one? Just one. Silver Stitches. She said, thank you for giving me motivation to get on with my diamond painting. She said she's working on a massive black and white canvas with 230 colours. She said, so it's not easy. She says she's loving the progress that I'm making on mine. She says one day she will do a Heaven and Earth design conversion. She's thinking of doing Dress of Dreams by J. Wall. I'll have to go and check that one out and see what that one looks like. We offer the printed stickers for putting on your storage when doing a Heaven and Earth design, and I love it when one comes through because I love going and seeing which paintings people are going to do. It's like, oh, who's doing which one? Who's doing this one? Who's doing that one? And it's very, very rare that we actually get a duplicate. So it's very rare that we get somebody doing a chart that we've charted for somebody else before. Okay, there's quite a bit of this 472 here and further down. There's only 32 of those diamonds. So maybe there's a chance that they all go in whatever this is. I can always hope, can't I? Alright, 498, sneaky one up here. This is actually, because it's got a couple of things that look to be going on, with there's been something up here and something down here. I mean, they may connect, but there's actually quite a few different codes. So I've got a feeling this is going to be a bitty one. Charlotte M, she says, not Heaven and Earth design related. She said, but she ordered and received her first ever Diamond Art Studio painting and she's in love. She said she got the Just Hanging painting by Splatterworks, and she said it's going to be difficult not to do any until their April event. Trying to hold off so that you can join in. I love that one though. Just Hanging, Mr. Sloth. I love that painting. So I've got quite a few Splatterworks paintings. I absolutely love them. I think they're just adorable. And I actually enjoy the colour blocking on some of them as well. Because there's the odd little sprinkle or splatter of different colours. So yeah, I really enjoy being able to tip a load of white into my tray and just do a load. And then I love going through and clicking all the little splatters into the white background that I've done, and seeing that colour end up on the canvas. It's just fun. So I like to have a different variety of paintings and how they come together. And it's nice when I get to, you know, flip between a confetti painting to a not as confetti painting. I enjoy, you know, doing the two different ones rather than them all being the same style. This is my confetti painting. I have quite a bit of confetti at the moment. Cosmic has a bit of both. So it does have some bits that feel very confetti. But then there is quite a few bits that don't. So it's a nice little mix. Oh look, we've got one of these. One of these that I only need 20 of. But we're just gonna pop one on the canvas. I think I have enough though to finish the kit. I only need 19 more now. I have lots. Oh, this one's only on 13 and I'm actually about to put 4. So this is going down to single digits. Oh, there is hope that I might be able to get rid of a colour soon. Though I think there is a comment later where somebody did say that they want to see a massive dekitting. I can see me having to film it over the course of hours and days if I did a big dekitting on this one, because it's epic. Right, let me get case number 2. Ready for a single placement of a diamond. Lisa, she says, this is looking fantastic. She said, you're really getting far. She said, a long time ago, she said, when Heaven and Earth design conversion projects first started, she said she bought a pattern in the big size, bought all the drills and a huge canvas. She said it's 160 something by 190 something. She said she can't remember exactly. She said it's so huge that they had to give her an extra roll, as they can only print up to 150 centimetres wide. She said at the time she didn't even think of buying multiple blank canvases like people are doing now, and then piecing them together, she said, at the end. So she has this massive blank canvas and a smaller roll. She said she wouldn't be able to cut up the big blank canvas, as she wouldn't have enough then, because of needing the extra column or two to piece it together at the end of it. Plus, she says she doesn't think she wants to do anything that huge, so she now doesn't know what to do with it. She said it's of a beautiful pink fairy, and she hates to have it sitting there, but she doesn't know what else to do with it. You probably, I know some people will do sort of, they will cut up the canvas, but then they will use a section of the canvas to be the sticky for the next section of the canvas and sort of overlay them that way. But you could, I'd have thought you could still cut them if you prefer to work on it as a smaller piece. So just see it as you're doing one piece multiple times. You could either cut it and then have it as like a, oh, what are they called? One of the canvases that does come in long strip sections. You know, so maybe if they're tall, so you could actually have it as 5 different sections and hang it with a gap in between. Or you could just use some sort of duct tape some sort of strong bonding flexible tape to bond your pieces together without them needing to overlap. And then you could still get it done. You could have it as a 3-year-long project like me that you will get to eventually to finish off maybe. Ooh, that one's gone down to 22. But we've definitely got something going on down here. If not, I'm sure there will be somebody, if you may be able to sell it on a selling site in your country, or maybe give it away if there is somebody that wants to do one, because it is a shame just sitting there. But I do also think that it could still be split and done if it's the size of working on it and actually being able to deal with it. Then I would be tempted to cut it into long strips, because you've already got a strip with your extra piece. So I'd be tempted to cut your big one into long strips, and then either say do it as a multi piece. Oh, I've got 2 colours in here and one of them is definitely not the right colour. I've got a yellow and a pink. So let's tip them into there. They seem to have stuck together a little bit. Let's get the yellow where the yellow needs to go. And then let's ditch that one, because I am not going to try and figure out what colour that is. Though it matches the tray lovely. But it's got some stickiness on it. So yeah, I'd do one of those things myself. I don't know whether I'd even think about taking on that bigger project again yet. I have quite a few other things that I want to finish first. Aileen says she says she knows that maybe this isn't the place for this. She says, but she's not on Facebook. So she said this is the only place that she can. She says she's wondering if anybody has the possibility of sending diamonds to Chile to continue with her heaven and earth design. She says she's already bought once, but she can't buy again. She said, so any help is welcome. So if anybody is able to help Aileen with drills to Chile while she's not on Facebook, if you could email me what you need, Aileen, the list and numbers of each DMC that you need for your heaven and earth design, and then if anybody is able to help, if they can email me saying they're willing to help, as soon as I get the list I will forward it on. I can't do it all the time, but if you're not on Facebook, then I'm happy to be a bit of a go-between on this occasion. So my email address is on my YouTube, but you'll want the 4kids at 147@gmail.com. But it is on my YouTube for you to be able to get that email address. If you email it to me, and then I will send it on to anybody that is able to potentially help sending some. Or send me the list and I will give a readout of the list. And then people can email me if they're able to help. Maybe that'll work better. I'm not sure which video is that on actually. Let's have a look. It's not telling me what date that video is. Hang on, because I'm ending up playing it. So the video from the 2nd of March is when she's commented on. So it's the video on the 2nd of March, if anybody is able to help. Okay. Let me get myself back to YouTube Studio. There we go. I'm back. Try and get back to the comments. I clicked off the comments to try and find out which heaven and earth design which video it was, so people could reply if they wanted to. Kathleen, she says, how are you doing this diamond painting from a computer? She says she's confused. So what I am doing, this diamond painting, I'm using a blank canvas. So of course this has nothing printed on it apart from my square lines. And this on the tablet is actually a cross stitch pattern. So it's a cross stitch pattern from heavenandearthdesigns.com. They do absolutely gazillions. There will be thousands on there of cross stitch patterns that you can purchase as a digital download. So when you purchase it, you are sent you're sent a PDF with the chart on it. Now, when I originally started this, I had the chart printed out on paper, and where the chart tells me to put a diamond on the square, that's basically what I'm doing. It's counted cross stitch in diamonds. But there is now an amazing app called Pattern Keeper that is available on Android. And I have sent my PDF. I uploaded it to OneDrive and then chose that one in Pattern Keeper, and it basically shows me the PDF chart and allows me to mess with it all. It's made for cross stitchers primarily, to be able to mark off their cross stitch pattern, which in effect is what I'm doing. I'm marking off a cross stitch pattern. I'm just not stitching each of these squares. I'm putting a diamond instead. So it's definitely a different way to diamond paint. It's sort of a way to, it's using a bit of this craft and a bit of that craft to come out with my fairies in my tree. So Sarah, she said, this was a few days ago, she said she's sorry that I've not received my update to Pattern Keeper yet. Well, you'll be happy to know I have now, Sarah. I'm a happy bunny. Now I have my update and all my zeros have disappeared off my screen, which means I'm now not clicking on ones that have actually got 0 because I'm not paying attention to the numbers. I'm normally tapping, too busy looking for the next one. She says it must be maddening waiting for it. She says particularly when you know others have it. Aren't I ever? I was so impatient. I was trying my best not to be. But when it's a feature that you really, really want, and it's been a good few weeks in between it coming out and me actually being able to get it. So annoying. She said she was on pins and needles at the end of this video when I was checking as to whether I'd got the update yet. That was me, probably on a daily basis. She said, if you had, she said it would have been something straight out of a movie or something. She said, anyway, she says, fingers crossed that you have the update by the time you read out this comment. Well, your fingers crossed worked, Sarah. I have now got the update. It did actually tell me that the update was ready as soon as I opened Pattern Keeper. So it did tell me that there was an update, and it's like, oh, you can still continue to use the app. And I was like, but the update isn't showing there. So I think I placed my first number down, and then I was like, nah, I'm going and getting that update. So I did end up going and telling it to install rather than letting it do it in its own time. I thought I have waited enough. I want this update and I want it now. So I got the update, promptly told it to ignore all zeros, and a load of them all disappeared. Right, I've managed to place a diamond in the wrong place already. So let me just grab my tweezers. I do this more so when I'm chatting, but this one shouldn't go here, it should go here. Get in. There we go. A bit of a tighter squeeze down there because this one goes here. There we go. Did I get those two? No. See, this is the problem when I've got a series of colours but over two different sides of the painting. I end up missing stuff. Right, let's try that. I've got some 815. Crafty Gamer, or Stephanie, she says she loves the idea of a tower for the trays. She said it would be a nice idea if they can be taken apart and flat packed so that they can be taken down if not needed. Yeah, we have, I'm hoping actually this week to order some samples of some things to see if they can potentially work. So it's something that is already manufactured. And I want to see if those designs work before we potentially see how reasonable it is to get something made that's specific. If we can find something that works that's actually for a completely different purpose and get that to work for the trays, then it keeps the costs down. I wouldn't even like to think how much it would potentially cost to get something manufactured specifically. I think that could be quite frightening. Charlotte. Oh, hang on. No, that's on a normal WIP and Chat. Let's go back to a Heaven and Earth design one. In fact, Stephanie commented on a normal one as well. This is the only thing when I end up with WIP and Chats that when I get to the more recent comments, sometimes I've got people commenting on both depending on when they actually get to watch the video, which is fine. I've just stopped paying attention to which video people are commenting on. So let's try that again. I could just go into one video and read the comments from that, but then I wouldn't get people's comments that have been left on videos from weeks ago. And I kind of think all Heaven and Earth design videos are relevant, whether I posted it last week or a month ago. Especially because I'm doing them so regularly now. Christine, she says she has just started, no, her daughter has just taken up cross stitch and she was telling her about Pattern Keeper. She said a while ago she did download the app, the Markup RXP app. She said she didn't realise that there was a yearly payment plan needed to use it. She said she thinks that I said that there was a one-time payment for Pattern Keeper, but she doesn't have an Android tablet. So she was considering getting a tablet primarily for using Pattern Keeper, and then she could do a Heaven and Earth design on it also. She says, do you have any advice on which tablet to get for Pattern Keeper? She says, like anything to look out for. So yes, Pattern Keeper is only a one-time payment. I have had a look at this Markup RXP, which I must say I've had quite a few comments on in the past week. So I'm not sure how many of those are people that have heard about it or how much they're doing a marketing push. I'm not sure. But I did look it up after the comment last week, the first comment that I'd seen about it. And they do have like a payment and then a yearly payment. And I don't want to commit to any yearly payments. So I have not downloaded it and I have not tried it. It looks similar to Pattern Keeper. But from things that I have seen or have read, and these are other people's views, I say I've not downloaded it. People are saying while it is good, it's not as good. How true that is, I don't know. But because they want payment to be able to use it, I'm not going to download it. Say with Pattern Keeper, you got a 2-week trial, which I think is now a 1-week trial, before you were asked if you wanted to buy it. So I was happy to try before I buy, and it was a one-off payment, which a one-off payment isn't so bad, but I am not signing up to a yearly subscription on anything. I don't on any apps on my iPad. I don't sign up to any subscriptions like that, so I haven't tried it. In relation to what tablet, I use a Huawei tablet, but I wouldn't suggest you getting one of those now because they don't have the Play Store anymore. Some government political thing, I think, but they don't have the Play Store anymore. All I would recommend is to potentially get the biggest, without being huge, tablet that is a reasonable price for you. So I think this one is an 8-inch. This works for me. Other people much prefer a 10-inch, but I wouldn't, there are smaller ones out there, and I wouldn't want to do it on a smaller one unless I was just doing one square at a time. So have a look at the actual screen size. Is it a nice screen size for you? And is the price something that you can afford? Other than that, I don't have much knowledge anymore of decent tablets. I used to, just due to the company I worked for and the job I did. We often sold tablets, or at least got updates on tablets, you know, and I sort of knew what was going on in the tablet world. But since I moved to sort of when I originally was with the complaints team and the corporate side of things, I sort of lost touch on the types of tablets out there. And then, of course, now I don't even work for that company anymore. So technology moves so fast. I really don't have any other knowledge on what is the best tablet to use. I know Samsung's always used to be good tablets, but again, I don't think they're necessarily the cheaper end of the scale, especially when you're only using it for one app. If you could still get Play Store on a Huawei, I would suggest a Huawei, because I've always found them nice, straightforward, easy to use. But if you can't download Pattern Keeper, then it's a bit pointless. You can get Pattern Keeper on a Kindle, but I think there's a few different steps that you have to take to get the Play Store. Now, if you go, if you're on Facebook, there is an app, there is a group for those that use Pattern Keeper, and they do have instructions on how to get it on your Kindle. And as long as you follow it step by step, then that could potentially be a good option. Again, it depends on what prices they are now, and I don't know what prices they are. Next one. Diamond Sparkle Chase. She says, do you number your cases to know which case to go to? It's all from memory. No, it's not. I do number my cases, especially when, of course, there was a month, if not 6 months, between me doing each section. I did number the cases. When I first started, when I was doing it on paper, I had the diamonds sorted by symbol, a bit like I do when I'm doing a diamond painting with them printed on. I do those by symbol because it makes more sense to me. Now I'm using Pattern Keeper, I do them by DMC number. So when I change my cases, I'll show you now, because I need to change cases. I basically just did a little Dymo label. They're looking a bit bashed. They're about 3 years old now, with the number it started with and the number it ended with, which is another reason, even though I've got some empty in the bottom of this, I've not shuffled diamonds along and made my cases, in effect, my last case shorter. And that is because of the fact that I've got the numbers on there and I'd have to renumber them. So I'm going to wait until I have quite a few that have gone and I get to the point that I have 60 empty bottles. Then I will move them all so that I'm down to 3 cases and I'll renumber them at that point. She says, because to be honest, it could get right to the end before I start getting rid of the quantity of colours to actually be able to go down a case. And if it does happen right near the end, then it'll kind of be, oh, what's the point in shuffling all the bottles across if I'm about to start taking a load of them out because I've done a number. We'll have to see how long it takes before I start being able to ditch them. If they do happen around the 800 mark, then I might do. If they get closer to the 900 plus right at the bottom, then it's probably not going to be worth my time. So we'll see. But yes, I do number them because otherwise I would have no hope. I'd probably be pulling out 5 cases just to find the one that I need. And I only have 4 cases to start off with. But that'd be the way it'd go. I'd miss the one I needed and I'd have to re-pull a different one out again. Lady Dax, she says, wow. She says, seeing you zoom out on the tablet, she says, to what you have completed. She said, it looks amazing. Thank you. I'm happy with it. She said, she had to giggle though. She says, as it seems as though you looked up, saw that your reflection was in the shot and dodged out the way. She said, Rebecca, are you really camera shy? Yeah, if I'm not ready for it, yes. And believe me, if you could see me now, I am in nice slobby trackies with a t-shirt on, half doing videos, half cleaning the house, which is, I knew I'd seen one light up, which is becoming my new Saturday routine, is to do a video and then to clean the bathroom, and then I do a video and then I dust through the house, having, you know, brews and stuff in between, but I do that and then I'll do another video and then I'll go and hoover the house, and it sort of gets those weekend jobs done. I mean, I say a lot, it's been the last few weeks that I've been trying to do them both on the same day, and I'm finding it works, gives me a chance to rest my voice before my next video, especially when I'm filming 2 WIP Chats. But yeah, I'm not front camera ready, but I did my nails last night, so I'm definitely get my YouTube videos done ready. I even, this nail for some reason decided to come off completely after I did my first WIP and Chat. I don't know whether I missed doing the base coat on it last night or what. I don't know, but the whole thing came off completely. So I've actually redone that nail today, but it didn't take too long because I hadn't quite tidied up the conservatory, so the stuff hadn't gone away, so that made it easier. My nail stuff was still on the side, but yeah, apart from my nails, I'm in no way camera ready. Jackie, she says, regarding knitting, she said she chose a pretty pattern when she was pregnant. She said to knit a pram blanket. She said she didn't realise that it was cable stitch and she was a novice. She said her son will be 42 this November and she still has it in her to be done cupboard. Okay, right, who can beat Jackie? That is amazing that you've still got it in your to be done cupboard after 42 plus years, because you were pregnant with him at the time. So yeah, 42 plus years. That is some going. Are you ever going to get that done, Jackie, or are you going to pass that on? It might be time to let go. Create yourself a bit more room for some diamond painting, maybe. Yeah, that's hilarious. Army Mower says, she says it's fun learning slang from other countries. Hang on, because I've just completely lost what I'd done and what I hadn't done. There we go. That's what I needed. She said it's completely fun. It's fun learning slang from other countries. She said Hoover is a main brand vacuum here in the US. She says, but here Scotch tape, 3M tape, is the main tape. So yeah, we have Scotch tape as well. I actually prefer the Scotch tape to sellotape, but I think sellotape is more the older brand. She says she finds it interesting that some brands are universal and some are not. She said her favourite thing to do while travelling internationally is to go to the grocery store and see what they have. She said even when she travels within the US, she likes to go to different Costco's to see what's different. Jackie has replied and said we also have the brands Scotch and 3M, however we still call it sellotape. It's true. It's true. Sellotape's just the oldest brand, so I think that's just, it just gets the name sellotape even when it's not, but people know what you mean. And the word tape is shorter, but then you know, you're like, what type of tape? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what type of tape do you need? Do you need a tape measure? No. It's just easier. Call it sellotape and everybody knows what you mean. Army Mower and Jean says, okay. She says, what brand of dish soap is most commonly known? She says, is it Dawn? No, Dawn dish soap I've not seen in the UK. I mean, I must say, I'm not the main shopper, the main food shopper. But no, I've seen Dawn dish soap online on, you know, reels and suggestions for washing this and washing that, but no, it's not Dawn dish soap here. The main one here is Fairy. What is it? Hands that do dishes are as soft as your face. That was the advert when we were younger. It was a bit more of a sing-along than that, but I'm not up for front-facing camera and I'm definitely not up for a sing-along. But yeah, there was loads and loads of different Fairy adverts that I remember growing up. But yeah, one of their slogans was hands that do dishes are as soft as your face. It's mild green Fairy liquid. I wonder who else sang along to that while I was saying it. They also did adverts on how you could make a rocket out of the bottle when it had been finished. They had some poor poor child there waiting for this bottle of fairy to finish. And one of the other things they say is that you only need a bit and it lasts ages. So there was this poor child waiting to make a rocket, and it took absolutely ages for the fairy bottle to empty. Which I can agree. It does last a long time, fairy. We actually have a big bottle in the cupboard, and I still don't know why we have the big bottle, because it seems to take an eternity to get through the big bottle. Though we have got a dishwasher now as well, so that's probably slowed things down a little bit. But yeah, I like the different countries, and you know what, whenever I go to Australia, I'm always surprised. I remember the first time I was there, it's like, oh, that's such a company, oh, that's such a company. You know, and there were some companies that were over there, and then there's other companies that they're like, what are you on about? Never heard of them. And they were UK, primarily UK based. But yeah, it's always fun. Daylene, she says she hopes that me and the family are well. She said a few things have caught her attention tonight. Oh, let me just pop this row in, and we will find out what has caught her attention on last week's video. She said her 902 DMC on her Heaven and Earth design is actually the same symbol as mine. She says, as are a few others. So she has a few others that are the same symbol. She said about knitting, she said she used to knit a lot when she was young. She said she made her first jersey for herself when she was about 10. She said she knit one for her ex-husband when her eldest was a few months old, and he gave it away to someone else, and she's never took up a knitting needle since. I can see why he's an ex. She said diamond painting has been her saving grace since 2019. She says she does crochet every so often. She's busy with a spread for her spare room. She says, but that's a winter project for her, though winter is around the corner for her. So are you in Australia, New Zealand, Daylene? That side of the world, i.e. the opposite to us, because we thought spring was coming, but it wasn't. Winter came back to say hello. I only need 12 of these in total. Oh well, 2 more are gone. 2 more down. I knew there was one that hadn't quite squashed down enough there. I do feel like you might just be missing that bottom corner every now and then. And then see, look, one of these light colours, but all the way over the other side. I think this is a little light near the door. I'm guessing. Just maybe it's a little reflection. But there's just the one of those over there. Not getting rid of you yet. Grey Legrand, she says, okay, funny question. She said, when you kitted up, did you put the colour in a pot for when you only needed 1 or 4 drills? Yes, I put them all in pots. I didn't even necessarily pay attention to how many I needed when kitting it up. Because I'm using my spares rather than buying in the diamonds, I decided to put however many in. So I only need 40 more of these, and I've definitely got a lot more than that in this pot. Some of them I only need 1 and the pot's full, because I just filled them up with any and all spares that I had that would do for it. It has worked out better that way for me, because some of these that I only need 1 or 2 of, or 4 of, I may have only needed a couple of them throughout the whole painting. And because of the length of this painting, they actually won't even get put down until right at the bottom of the painting, where there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more that goes on at the bottom, like in relation to different things, which is where the colours that I don't need many of tend to come into effect. So at the top, there's a lot of, I did use all the colours I needed for a couple of aspects right at the top of the painting, a couple of stars. But apart from that, most of it, some of them you'd have like one dotted at 200, one dotted at 700, another one dotted at 800, and that's where the three of them went. So it was easier just to kit them all up and have all of them with diamonds in. Because otherwise I would probably have those diamonds in bags and they'd still be floating about. And when I came to the symbol, I'd probably be completely confused as to where it is, because I started this 3 years ago. It's been a while. It's been a while. But yeah, there's loads of them. There is just one here and one there and one over in another bit. Like now, there's a lot of singles. So yeah, 996, that's actually one that I only need one of. I have a full pot here. I just haven't paid attention to how many I needed as I've kitted them up. Melissa said she did purchase an Android tablet. She said, but in her move, some of her diamond painting stuff, including the tablet, is still in Kent. She said she did look at the cost of buying another. She said she knows she's very crazy. Can you not get it posted to you, Melissa? Is there not family there that could just send it to you? And just ship you a little care box of some of your diamond painting goodies every now and then. Could be like Christmas for you. When they arrive and you open the parcel. It's just exciting things that were your own anyway. Alright. I feel like I'm getting there with this one, but I also feel like I'm not. I think as soon as I've got this 3371 done, I often feel better. I think I've said that before. I kept seeing one out the corner of my eye that kept moving then. I just wanted to check. Oh, here we go. Here's a batch of a light one. This is where we see something starting to come to life. All this pale yellow. Anne Smith, she says, you're right. She says, not diagonal cross stitch. She said, parking threads is a nightmare to her also. Yeah, I don't get how people can do that. Like, how do you even know what the number is anymore? I feel like they'd need something wrapping around them. You know, like when you can get those little cable tie things to name which plug is which. I'd feel like you'd need to do that on each thread. Maybe if they had what DMC number they were woven through them, we'd be alright, but no, I think that would just become too much thinking and not enough relaxing. I think that's what it would be to me. You know, there are some things and some times of day or times that I am more than happy to do something that is complicated, you know, takes the thinking, takes the working out, but not all the time. So, you know, there are tasks, of course, within the business that take more thinking than others. And some days it's great and I'll plough through all of them. And other days I'm like, nah, let's do something else. Let's do something that keeps me a bit more busy with my hands or something. My brain can't take that today. But yeah, cross stitch to me would be sit down, tuck my feet up, relax and stitch. It would not be try and figure out which thread goes where. Stephanie, she says she just wants me to have an epic de-kitting when I'm completely done. I don't think I could cope, Stephanie. I really don't. I feel like it would be a video that would be 4 weeks in the making. It may end up getting close to that near the end. It really does depend on how many colours are in that bottom row or even 2 rows. As to, I think there will still be an element of an epic de-kitting. I'm just hoping it's not 230 plus. Because while I already have some that are zeros and have been de-kitted, there's still a lot that haven't. I still have a lot of diamonds in play. I need to count up, but it's still over 200. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's still over 200. I can't remember if I counted it up a while ago. But yeah, I don't think, I think it's still going to have an epic de-kitting, just maybe not as epic as you want it to be. Because I don't think that I can save them all until the end. I don't think I could cope. So if I did, it would definitely be a video that would be done over a few days. I'd mash it all into one video, but you'd probably catch me doing a case each day and tidying it away and then figuring out how to mount it. And I still need to check if it will fit at the top of my stairs. It's the biggest wall I have in the house. I do keep, when I was actually up there earlier cleaning the bathroom, I did sort of do a double check. Yes, it definitely is the biggest, you know, the tallest room in the wall in the house. So it is definitely the best wall for it to go on. But I've not actually measured the height of the wall to confirm that it definitely will all fit. Because then I'll have to start thinking about how I can hang it. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I've not hit the 700 mark yet. I've got a couple of months before I have to think about that. At least. Crafty JJ Newton, she says she enjoyed this video very much. Thank you. She said she also ordered diamonds from a company on Amazon. She said 445 coloured squares. She says to help with what she needs for her heaven and earth design. She says unfortunately they did short her on a lot of diamonds, supposed to be around 1,000, but they only actually had about 500 in them. That's disappointing, especially when you expect to get so many sort of numbers ticked off your list, and then when they arrive and you can't tick them off. I can imagine that being rather frustrating. Right, get this diamond on, and then I need to change my case. I also need to change my battery and try and get the last few bits finished up. I knew this would end up being a long one. As soon as I saw how many colours were dotted about everywhere, I knew this would end up being a long one. And I've got a few colours that I'm sort of not used to seeing in some of these sections, so I'm trying to go slow, but it wouldn't surprise me if I've still missed one from another one of my cases, because I have done that a few times over the other section where it's just the odd diamond. This at the top also changes when you click on each diamond, and I feel like that actually distracts me a bit with it being across the top. And that's because it's changing is what makes it distract me, because I'm looking for something that changes because it gets highlighted green. And the fact that they change and they have the colour here, it does distract me. I haven't looked to see if it's something you can actually turn off or not. I'll still take it over the numbers disappearing to 0 though, because you can't win them all. But I know you can do these by DMC number or you can do them by amount of stitches. But because mine are all now in the right boxes, that would be mega confusing. So let's not go there. Anika, she says, eek. She says she better get a move on. She said she is on 69.5%. She said you're about to pass me on this painting. Well, you're still beating me. I'm not there yet. Mainly because it takes an eternity for this to go up by a percentage. But I am on 67.63% at the moment. I will probably finish today on 67.64%. I think that's what it works out at. It's just under 0.4% per section that I do, which is why it takes so long. But hopefully by the time I get to the end of this next row, I think that works out as 2/5 of the bottom half. So what would that be in total? 2/5 or 2/10, which would be 1/5 of the whole painting. For me to have got to. That actually sounds worse. No, I'm better sticking with 2/5 of what I had left rather than how much of the whole painting it is that I've managed to finish. But it's definitely, say, when I look back, especially when I see the angel sat on the swing, which has appeared throughout this whole process rather than I'd started it. Like, I think I was nowhere near finishing that or I wasn't getting to start that before I did this. It's really nice to see it sort of roll over my piece of pipe lining. It's like moving away from me because I'm done with it. So that's quite nice to see. Right, I think I have got a lot of these colours here. I'm looking at the symbols and I'm recognising a few more of them now as being ones from within this section. But let's get some darker ones. Have I got any other questions as well? Oh, I do. I have a few more. These are all, say, because I filmed this on a Saturday for the following week. Sometimes it takes a while for the Heaven and Earth design comments to filter in, depending on what people are doing that week. But I actually have a few more than what I thought. Lily, she says, hi Rebecca. She said, would you please consider a pre-order for the advent calendar in 2023? She says she's from Sydney and she would really love to have one this year, but she missed out for 2022. That is something that we are looking into. We're trying to find a way that makes it work and that makes it fair. We don't like sitting on people's money when we're not sending an order out. And at the moment, we only know a way on our website to take full payment. We're trying to see if there's a way that we can take part payment, but then it's how it would work when the item then comes into stock and matching them up to the original, because Advent launch is a crazy time. But I can assure you that we have decided this year to do nearly 3 times the amount that we sold last year, and that's the 12-day and the 24-day. Combining those two figures of how many we sold on the first release and the second release, we have more than doubled the amount with our preparation for this year. So hopefully, we are hoping to have enough for everybody. But as soon as we've got everything in-house, because that's the minimum I'd want, is everything in-house, and we're in the final packing stages, which I say final packing stages, I reckon that will take a couple of months to get them all packed up. Then we will look and see what it is that we can do for the best, so that people can get them that want them. I am even thinking of doing 2 separate releases, so doing the advent calendar as one release, and then the painting for the December event as a second release, rather than doing them both together. Partly because it will allow people to get their advent possibly earlier, and you know, really make sure that they have it for the beginning of December, but also just to make it logistically a little bit easier for us as well, because last launch was crazy time. Oh, it's actually this one I need. Jeep Girl, she says, thanks for keeping me company while she stitched on her focus piece, which is Hometown Hero Firefighter by Heaven and Earth Design. She said this could very well turn into a diamond painting after she's finished stitching it. She says she thinks it would be neat to see the two side by side together when she's completed. She said, hope you and the family are doing well. Much love. Thank you. Yes, I would love to see a Heaven and Earth Design that's been stitched and that's been done as a diamond painting side by side. I've done a couple of cross stitches that are photos turned into a cross stitch that I still have the paper charts for, because it was a few years ago that I did them, so it was probably pre-digital being, you know, available a lot more, that I've actually completed the cross stitch of, and I did think about doing one of them in a diamond painting, but then I decided that I was running away with myself with the amount of things that I was thinking of doing and needed to calm it down. Right, I have got to the end and I've realised that I have marked off a stitch that I actually do not have it in for, and it's that one. What colour's that? 3827. Well, at least it's in this one. I've managed to mark it off and not actually put a diamond in there, so let's try doing that. That's why the search feature can be so handy. I can actually search for the stitch that I missed, but I'm definitely not doing this one as a painting, as a cross stitch. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, I can see somebody. I knew it would start becoming more apparent when I looked through the viewfinder. See, up here, this is my angel. This was near, in fact, it was actually this row here was where I was when I started this year. So 2023, I've done this much. So when I roll this up, it is going completely over. You actually can't really get the amount that I've done this year in shot. So if I zoom all the way out, how far can I go down there? Okay, maybe we can just. So this is the line here. That's where I started 2023. So it's getting close to being knocked out of view how far I am, but we have a couple of lanterns, look like lanterns in the tree, a fairy, an angel, and we've definitely got something going on down here. We've definitely got a person. So yeah, how much comes across here? Time will tell. Stay tuned to find out if I actually run out of any numbers or not. I do need to go over and have a look. So, I mean, you get familiar with the symbols, doing them all the time. So I've definitely got some more black and some blue. Black and 939. I think I've got quite a bit more that's a bit like this. That's around her head and around the leaves. So there's a bit more of this darker part. But then there is something here. And it does seem a little bit lighter. So maybe it's something to do with this fairy here. Time will tell. Time will tell. So there's only a couple more comments, which I will save for next week's video. But I've definitely got through a lot more comments than last time. But that's what happens when you have a very confetti heavy piece. But yeah, we're getting another fairy, angel. Not quite sure yet. Can't see any wings. Oh yeah, maybe I can. Maybe there is some there. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out on the next one. Maybe we'll never quite know if it's a fairy or an angel. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.